जय हिंद दोस्तों, वेलकम बैक टू सोल्जर अनप्लग। आई एम योर साइंस मेंटोर और आज हम सीडीएस का एग्जाम पैटर्न और उसका साइंस सिलेबस डिस्कस करेंगे। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं। Here we can see we'll discuss about the pattern of the exam, then detailed syllabus, then last 5-year trends और उसके बाद resources for the preparation of the examination. For IMA entry, the exam is divided into 3 sections. First one is mathematics, then general studies, and then English. For the OTA entry, the exam is divided into 2 sections. One is general studies and the other one is English. For the official sources of the syllabus, you can visit the UPSC website, that is upsconline.nic.in, and the other one is indianarmy.nic.in. So here the science syllabus, and the science is divided into 3 sections: physics, chemistry and biology. तो सबसे पहले हम फिजिक्स को डिस्कस करते हैं। फिजिक्स में हमारा फर्स्ट टॉपिक है मेजरमेंट, मोशन एंड फोर्स। इसके अंदर हम लोग फिजिकल क्वांटिटीज, स्केलर एंड वेक्टर क्वांटिटीज, मोशन इन 1 डायमेंशन एंड 2 डायमेंशन, एंड देन लॉज ऑफ मोशन एंड फ्रिक्शन डिस्कस करेंगे। देन वी हैव वर्क, एनर्जी एंड पावर। इन दिस विल टॉक अबाउट टाइप्स ऑफ वर्क, पॉजिटिव एंड द नेगेटिव वर्क। देन वी हैव कंजर्वेटिव एंड नॉन कंजर्वेटिव फोर्सेस, देन काइनेटिक एनर्जी एंड पोटेंशियल एनर्जी, देन वर्क एनर्जी थ्योरम, collision and conservation of momentum. Now we have gravitation. In this we'll talk about acceleration due to gravity, gravitational potential energy, planetary motion, and the important topic, that is satellite. Now we have center of mass and rotational motion. In this we'll talk about moment of inertia, torque, and angular momentum. Then we have oscillation in waves. In this we'll talk about SHM, that is simple harmonic motion, simple pendulum. This is very important. Then we have oscillations of spring. Types of mechanical waves. In this we'll talk about longitudinal and transverse waves. Then we have characteristics of sound, sonar, and superposition of waves. Now we have electrostatics. In this we'll talk about electric charge, field, electric potential, electric dipole, and the capacitors. Then we have current electricity. इसके अंदर हम लोग Ohm's law, resistance, and the temperature's effect on it. Then we have electric cell, Wheatstone bridge, different measuring devices, and heating effect of electric current and chemical effects of electricity. Now we have properties of matter. We'll discuss about what is matter, then hydrostatics, viscosity, intermolecular forces, and surface tension. Then we'll study about temperature, heat, and kinetic theory of gases. इसके अंदर हम लोग different scales of temperature study करेंगे. Then we have thermal expansion, specific heat, latent heat, and kinetic theory of gases and gas laws. Then we'll study about thermodynamics. In this we'll talk about laws of thermodynamics and transmission of heat. Now we have optics. Optics में हम लोग reflection, refraction, lens, prism, scattering of light, human eye, and optical instruments, ये सब study करेंगे. Now this is magnetic effects of electric current and magnetism. इसमें हम लोग electromagnetics, magnet, for example bar magnet. Then we have earth's magnetism, electromagnetic induction, and alternating voltage, ये पढ़ेंगे. Then we have nucleus and the radioactivity. In this we'll talk about nuclear structure and radioactivity. Then we have modern physics. In this we'll talk about cathode rays, matter wave, photoelectric effect, X-rays, and semiconductor. Now let's talk about chemistry. In chemistry, our first topic is physical and chemical changes. Then we have elements, mixtures and compounds. In this we'll talk about states of matter, terms related to this change of state, then classification of pure substances, then mixture separation methods and emulsions. Now we have laws of chemical combination and gas laws. इसके अंदर हम लोग chemical combination के laws पढ़ेंगे, then gas laws, then ideal gas and ideal gas equation. Then we have atomic, molecular and equivalent masses. In this we'll talk about atomic mass, molecular mass, equivalent weight, vapor density and mole concept study करेंगे. Then we have balancing of a chemical equation. Now let's talk about atomic structure. In this we'll talk about Dalton's atomic theory, atomic models, Planck's quantum theory, and atomic species. Now we have radioactivity. In this we'll talk about alpha rays, beta and gamma rays, then half-life period, nuclear fission, and use of radioactive isotopes. This is important topic. Then we have periodic classification of elements. In this we'll talk about periodic table and the classification of elements according to their atomic number, and then periodic properties. Now we have chemical bonding. In this we'll study about valency, then types of chemical bond, hydrogen bond and metallic bond. Then we have acid, bases and salts. In this we'll talk about acids and its properties, bases and its properties, hydrolysis and salts. Redox reaction में हम लोग oxidation number, oxidation और oxidizing agents के बारे में बात करेंगे, then reduction and reducing agents के बारे में. Then we have electrochemistry. In this we'll talk about electrode potential, electrochemical series. It is very important. Then we have electrolysis and corrosion. Now we have non-metals and the compounds. In this we'll talk about physical and chemical properties of hydrogen, then structure of a water molecule, and then crystalline forms of carbon, crystalline forms of carbon coal, then oxides of carbon, oxygen and nitrogen. Now this is very important topic. It is some important chemical compounds. Now let's talk about biology. Biology में हमारा first topic है diversity in living world. In this we'll talk about characteristics of living beings, classification of different kingdoms like Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and animalia, and we have a separate topic for viruses. Then we have cell and cell cycle. इसमें हम लोग cell theory, types of cells, structure and functions of cell, cell organelles and cell division like meiosis and mitosis. Then we have biomolecules. In this we'll talk about water, carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, lipids, minerals, vitamins, and this is the important one, that is nutritional deficiencies. Then we have structural organization in plants. इसके अंदर हम लोग plant morphology and plant anatomy पढ़ेंगे. Then we have structural organization in animals. Then plant physiology. इसमें हम लोग transportation, photosynthesis, respiration ये सब study करेंगे. And then plant hormones. Then we have reproduction in plants. In this we'll talk about asexual and sexual reproduction in plants. Then human physiology. Human physiology में हमारा first topic है movement and locomotion. Then respiratory system, digestive system, circulatory system, excretory system, reproductive system, nervous system and endocrine system. Now we have health and diseases. In this we'll talk about infectious diseases and non-infectious. Then immunity, vaccination and immunization. Then we have methods of plant breeding. Then economic importance of biology, ये बहुत important topic है. इसके अंदर हम economic importance in zoology, botany and microbes in human welfare discuss करेंगे. So this was the whole syllabus. Now we have subject wise 5-year trends. Here you can see physics, chemistry and biology, and chemistry and biology are somewhat of equal weightage in the last 5 years, and physics is on the 3rd number. So these are the sources for the preparation of the exam. First one is the class notes, which we will give you after the lecture, and then the practice sheets and modules which we will provide you. NCERT is for the concept clearance, and Pathfinder CDS is an additional book you can take for PYQs or some other sample questions. So thank you so much. Stay tuned for the upcoming sessions. Jai Hind.